The following is a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. For more information, please visit our website at dallasgenealogy.com.
Okay. Today's session is going to continue from where we left off, but before we get started on this RootsMagic session, I'm going to show you how to add additional search inquiries to this list. If you do your drop down at the bottom, it says Manage Search Providers. If you click on that, if you're only showing a few things, they have a lot in there that you can check or check off if you don't want them to show up on your stuff. Like, I don't want World Vital Records, so I'm going to uncheck it because it's no longer in existence. But I can do custom searches, so I can add websites that I use all the time, subscription ones, any of them. And it will show up like newspapers.com. Shows up when I do my drop down. It wasn't one of the original ones that was in RootsMagic. So that way you can add all your favorite websites for genealogy, or the majority of them, from this drop down list that you can go and search separately on. Now we're going to go back to this family, and I want you to notice there's a little red warning triangle to the right of the light bulb. That means there's something wrong with the data entry on this person. If you click on it, it will tell you what it is. His parents married after his birth. There are several ways to resolve this because the birth date came from his death certificate, which is like a secondary source. It's not primary. So you want to go to other sources to figure out if it's 1906 or it should be a later year. But if you don't want to see it anymore until you can resolve it, it's not a problem. That takes it away, and that means it goes away from here. Oh, and now it's clicked on my toolbox. Well, he is in a Texas birth index. And I happen to know that's not his birth certificate. That's for his death, but it has his birth in there. Why did it say? Oh, no, it's death. There's birth, but I think this is for a child, not for him. Texas did have some, it's for his daughter. Texas did have some birth records that are that early. They're usually in what I call BMD books, birth, marriage, death books, at county level. Not all counties have them, so you can't rely on them always being there. He's not showing up. We have only found him on the 1940 census. So I'm going to look for him in 1930, 20, and 10 to see if he was the appropriate age to have been born in 1906. And I usually do this on Ancestry. So I go up and click on Ancestry. FamilySearch.org does have census records. And for newbie people, I recommend doing that so you don't have to buy Ancestry.com. But because I have it, I'm going to use it. Sometimes it's good to use both sources because they find different things. Now, if I had attached this or put this tree on Ancestry.com as a tree, it would go out and search for me and show up in the software. However, it's only showing the family trees. It's not showing actual data. So it can help you, but then it cannot help you. If you go straight to the source, to ancestry. Here's a World War II draft registration card. I'm going to open it in a new tab by right mouse clicking on it. Notice that her name was in this. Mrs. was also indexed. It doesn't have any information on this one. It has his birthday, which is a 1906 birthday. I'm going to narrow this search by going up here and saying, I usually click exact, similar, and sounds like. Do not use initials because I have found that it will pull every M something in their database and you have too many hits. And here I put sounds like and similar. I don't use Soundex anymore because I found out several years ago Soundex didn't work very well in Ancestry. And he was born in Texas. And always use the location of the drop down. I'm going to click exact here because I know he lived in multiple places. So I'm going to click on search here and see because I know that he's in multiple places. All right, see already it changed the whole hits because there is now a tree. Oops. More than one set of draft registration cards. Oh no, that's the other person. See how it's pulling all these different names? It will pull information that you may not necessarily expect to find. One of these things that I do is I go and hover here and you can tell who the people are in it. And that looks like a lot of people that don't belong. And that person's black, so I know that's wrong. In 1910, let's see, because I already knew his parents, Eugene and Margaret. So you can scroll through and find perhaps something really pretty fast. If you hover here, like I said, it will, that's, or you can come back up here and add more stuff to your search. So like I'm going to add father. I don't ever click exact here because if you do, then the spelling, if it's off, because all you can do there is exact. And very rarely will you find the name spelled the way you have it in your database. See, that's not him. Well, see, I'm not finding him in the 20 and I can't find him. So this is one of those things where I'm going to go look at this person's tree to see if they found him. No. So I'm going to jump back to his dad's generation. That's weird. I've never seen that kind of page. But his mother is on the 1910. And he's not listed on it. This Marguerite is the oldest child. I'm going to open it in a new window. And this is unusual because now it's saying that she's had 2 children. One has already died. So Marguerite is it. And she was born in 1909. So it makes me wonder if they have the correct parents on his death certificate, or if he really knew his parents. Because that would mean he was really born after 1910. So we need to go on and explore his parents. So I'm going to go over to them and do that light bulb. This is what I call the low-lying fruit, the light bulb. And there again, it's only really birth, marriage, death. And that's it. There's no census records there. So there again, I'm going to go over to Ancestry and see what it shows. Let's see. Where does it say he died? In Florida. And this actually is an obituary for him. I'm going to right mouse click on it and open it in a new window. That's interesting. I have a subscription full-blown to Ancestry, to newspapers.com. If you have newspapers.com that is part of the multiple subscription you can get through Ancestry, where they like gave you Fold 3 and newspapers.com, they're not the full-blown subscription, so you can't actually get this on your computer by doing this. Well, it talks about his widow Ida, a son Orrin of the Highlands, Texas, a daughter Margaret Patton of the Highlands. But we know by 1965 his son, Marcus, was already dead because he died early in Houston. So we need to go back and see if we can find this guy on the earlier census records. I'm going to do a right mouse click and actually open this in a new window. I like working censuses in a separate window because I usually end up opening everything. Well, we're pretty sure he was living in Texas because that's where his son was. I'm going to click exact to. This is lived in. And I'm not seeing him. I'm going to add a spouse. And this is what a lot of doing genealogy is all about. Scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Used to be, it was searching page after page after page after page on microfilm. So this is a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit. I need to see where he was born by looking at his death certificate. It says he was born in Texas. Oh, I do not have 1940 on here. I got to go get it. I've got to put Texas in here. That will help. Always use whatever pops up. That's for place. Your place is authority is something that you create as you go along. And if you always use the one that pops up below it, your names will stay the same, and you won't have a bunch with the same name. So I'm going to go back to, oops. Go back to market SIG. Here's the 1940 census. If you don't know, this little button means it's going to show this. If you click it, that goes away. If you click the little heads here, that will give you the information that they abstracted up from the census. And somebody interpreted that L as a G. I don't know if somebody's corrected that spelling in the, no. So I'm going to click on this and fix this last name. Oops. And give it the reason of the transcription error. Save it. And it's going to ask me if I want to apply that last name to all these people. And I don't want to apply it to that person because she's an aunt. And I don't know if she's the aunt of his wife or him. So I'm going to click apply, and it did that, and I'll get a thank you. And someday I'll get an email from Ancestry saying thank you for making this addition. Although I haven't seen a lot of those in a long time, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm now going to save this to my computer. Now I have fixed Chrome where it will open in the Save As window, and it just doesn't go into my download folder because then you have to find it. And I'm going to navigate to where I want it to save it. And, well, that's the wrong one. Shoot. Here I have to do it again. Should not have closed that. No, that is the right one. How come I already have it there? Anyway, I name it with the name of the person, head of household, and I usually put family if it's more than just him. Because if he's a single person and he's not with his family, I don't put family, so I know it's just him. The census year and the place and everything. I'm not going to save that since I already saved it. Evidently, that's where I probably was when we left off last week. So I'm going to add a residence. I used to add these as censuses, but when all the software came out, the way it was coming in on Ancestry, it was always residents. And if you didn't want to change that a bazillion million places, you just left it. And it's Lake Charles. And I got the 1940 in there. And I have to look. It was as Marcus E. In the citation, I put the way it is in the index on Ancestry. So if it's misspelled, I still put that spelling in there because that gives people a clue that it was spelled wrong. And then I put where it was. And I can't spell Calcachoo without looking at it. Still can't. Okay. And remember that in Louisiana, the parish is not county. And then I either click on the media tab, or I do it really fast with the Control-Alt-A-D, which is add from my hard drive. Now I have to navigate to where that was. And lectures. Okay. Click on it. Click open. It was already added, so I guess I didn't get it on him. And while it's here, you do memorize and close. And then I add it to his birth date by pasting it. Closing to his name. Paste it. Close. Close. Now you can do all of this with keystrokes. Oh, you know, I'm putting this on the wrong person. That's why it didn't make sense. That was Marcus. Never mind. See, we all make mistakes. It's easy to do. They're in Louisiana. I kept going, something's not right here because I knew I did that. So I'm going to delete this off of here. Open. No, wrong thing. It's easy to get yourself in a wrong queue all the time. I do it all the time. So we're back to Lester. Clarence. See, I think my problem is they both have Eugene as their middle name, and I think they're indexed a lot as Eugene. But since I can't find him easy on Ancestry, I am going to look on Family Search and see if it finds him. I wonder if this is him. You click on this link and you get this. If you click here, it will open in a new window automatically for you. The only time it won't do that is if there is a blue box up here and that says this record is somewhere in this book, and it won't take you to the direct page. So you want to, at that point, do a right mouse click on the link and say open in new window. Otherwise, it will open in the window that's already open, and you don't want to lose your search. And then you have to hand look it just like you would a roll of microfilm to find it. It's usually close. It's just not perfectly there. And let's see if this is him. It will come in. Oh, crap. There it goes. And it is him because his wife is right. It's Marguerite. And they were in Alena, Texas. So I'm going to go over to him. And I'm going to add a fact. I put these under residence. And I go and find the date that he signed it. 12 September 18. And he was in Alena. How did that spell? Harris County, Texas. And click Save to make sure that that place is going to be accepted. And now I'm going to add a source. And I'm pretty sure I don't already have this in here. Okay, add new source. I freeform all my sources because if you use, except for books, because if you use the templates of this software, they don't do well if you move to another software or are forced to move to another software. So remember that when you start creating your sources. So this is United States World War I draft registration card. And I'm going to copy this field and put it here and here. And I am not going to put a repository on this one because these records are found in multiple places. You can find them on Family Search, Find My Past, Ancestry, My Heritage, and probably, well, and you can get them on microfilm in some places. So I don't necessarily put a source or a repository because you should know that they're in a bunch of different places. I'm going to click OK and select it. And down in this bottom part, I'm going to put the name that is on the card, Clarence Eugene Lester. And before I leave this, I'm going to download this image. If you're wondering why some of this stuff looks like it's got this little blue arrow thingy going around and around, this information is in the cloud and it syncs automatically for me. So this is Clarence Eugene Lester, World War I draft registration. Save it. And you can see that it's finished downloading. Now, sometimes if you have a hokey pokey internet connection, that little blue circle takes forever to complete and for it to get all the way down. So be aware to watch for that to make sure it's down. And now I'm going to do media, add new from the disk. And it's going to take me to the window where I had last used something. Click on Clarence's World War II, and I'm going to get them this. And this is a caption, and it's Clarence Eugene Lester. And I'm just going to put WW1 for World War I so I know what that is. Click OK. Memorize it. So I can close this. And now I can paste this. And you can either Alt-P. Wait a minute. Alt-SP. Or click on this. Click on Sources. Click on Paste. And there it is. Close that now and close this. She was also on that record. So I'm going to add it to her name. Her last name wasn't there, but her given name was. That lets you know, if you're looking at your sources in the printout, that you have something besides the marriage record that ties her to him. Okay. Oops, wrong place. All right. Close you. I'm through with you. I'm looking for him. In the census record. Well, this is just not helpful. So I'm going to go back to Ancestry. Let me find one that I can actually do. See, that one's a puzzlement because that's not her record. They don't even know when she died. Sometimes these records can be really good and helpful to you, and other times they're just not. And see, I have a feeling he's down here. I think that year of birth is really wrong because he's not on this census record. And she clearly says that. So I'm going to go back and open in a new window, Ancestry. And I want to find them on the 1930, 20, and 10 census because they were all alive. But I do need to look at, where did that go? Not that one, this one. He was born in Indiana. There was no drop down window because I hadn't already used it. Save it. Now it's in the Places Authority. To get to all the places, you can come over here and you can see what you have already added. If you by fluke get them more than one entered, you click on the one you want to keep, click on merge, and then a window will come up like this one, and you check the ones that you want to merge together. And there are times where I've had to merge 5 or 6 together because there's a comma in the wrong place or something happened.
Thank you.
And you make those boo-boos all the time.
I know it, but that is like one of the biggest cleanup things that you have to do, and know how to do it. That merge factor is a great clue. Thank you.
And that's what this little sign means. It's a merge, and there's lots of things you can merge. That same thing works in people too. So be aware that use that button.
I've used it with people. I just haven't used it with resources.
Yeah, so that will help you a lot. Okay, I'm going to now say he has to be born in Indiana and within 2 years of 1879. Censuses are not always exact because you don't know what part of the year the person was born in. I'm scrolling through this pretty fast because I'm looking for Marguerite as a wife, and I am not finding it. Maybe she died between 1910 and 20. That person that did the tree, where did it go? Where did it go? Didn't have a death date for her. Oops, not this one. And he was born in 16. I wonder if she died before 20 even. Maybe I should look for his name. You always look for the weirdest name if you can't find him. Because they could have spelled that last name any which way but right. And I'm not even going to put that he was born in the year he was born, but I'm going to do all this. And they're not there, so I think Lester. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong button. All right, just for grins, I'm going to change this to the G, which is what it was in that one record. Nope. That's weird. I've never had a family that got lost on all the census records. But he definitely got lost.
Could they have been traveling?
I don't think so. They were between Texas and Louisiana. I mean, in Florida is a normal place you would find somebody see, Marcus got married. Well, that I didn't have in here, but they got married in Texas. But see, Clarence and she got married in Texas too. But my husband's aunt's younger brother, because I know this, was born in Louisiana. So they were Well, a lot of people from Houston and Louisiana, that's not that far apart. It is, but it isn't, because there are parts of Louisiana that are hubs that had easy waterway to Houston. So I don't think it's weird that they were in Louisiana. But I sure find it weird that we can't find them at all. We'll put birth here, Indiana. And I'm going to put, what was it, 18? I'm going to put 1875 through 1895. See, he is still in Indiana in this census. This is 1900. And Chester must have been a very popular name, or Clarence was a very popular name during a certain time period. Well, and there he is on the 1880. And you just got his father's complete name, Abraham Ebenezer. Man, that's a mouthful. So he was in Texas in 1918. You can narrow the collections down by clicking on collections. And here's census and see all 14. And there's 1920, 1930, 1940. Oh, I forgot it doesn't open right. You have to open it in that window. Oops, I lost my search. No, I didn't. You have to open it here, which is drives me nuts, but that's okay. This is telling you who the wife and who the children are, and if there's others in the family. And see, I'm not finding Orrin or any of them. Back up to 20. Oh, come on, move. No. Go back to collection. Oh. Everybody hit that one. I want that one. Well, that's interesting. Family Search has been nice and started doing their abstract and highlighting the person. This is not in all censuses, it's only in some, but that does mean you can see kind of kind of in the middle of the page. There he is. Nope, that says he's single. So that is not him. I probably closed my window again. Okay, go back to collections. I don't see anything good. Well, that's a puzzlement, because that means nobody really knows all the kids. I'll have to contact Mitch's cousin. This is her mother, and see if she knows any more information about this. Because this would have been her great-grandfather. No, her grandfather. No, that's grandfather, great-grandfather.
Can I make a brag?
What?
I went to visit my cousin. My dad's sister passed away a year ago. And I asked her for an address book so that I could copy an address book.
Mm-hmm.
And she found a Fox Fuchs genealogy book that was done by somebody 40 years ago that takes them over to Poland and Germany.
Oh, wow. That is a find.
But, I mean, I was just like, OMG.
Happy dance.
Oh, very happy dance. Happy dance.
That was like years ago when I was working on my husband's Kramer family. There was a tree on Ancestry that somebody had done that had the Kramers in it. And it was my husband's Kramers. And it took it back to like the 1500s. And he was over in Germany. So he had actually done the records.
Wow.
And I have since gone back and proven several of them. I haven't been in contact with him in years, but I did let him know where our branch went. He said he noted in the notes, if in the records it said they had gone to America, so I knew who to look for.
Very cool.
It was very cool.
Yeah. It's just like a gift from heaven. Even, I mean, there might be mistakes on it, and that's okay. It's just a huge lead.
Yeah, it is. Really huge.
All
right. I've lost I closed that window, I guess.
But you is there that doesn't have mistakes.
There isn't a single tree that does not have mistakes.
Yeah, and I realize that, but you know, there is at least some clues.
Yeah.
So I mean, instead of shooting in the dark,
it gives you a place to go and look.
It gives you a place to go and look. Exactly.
And I have to tell you, I found stuff recently from people's trees. Now, these trees were not documented at all. I mean, 0 zip documentation. But I found wills for almost all of it to prove it.
That's awesome.
So, you know, you use what you get. And
so this is a typed tome of information. What is the best software to convert that into like Word?
RootsMagic, because RootsMagic has the index coding in it.
I don't understand what you mean.
If you generate a rich text format from, say, Family Tree Maker, you cannot do any editing of it because you cannot regenerate the index.
Right.
RootsMagic has the index coding included in the rich text format. So you can edit it and regenerate your index, and it will correct the pages.
Okay.
So like you can,
is it worth going to all that effort to get it digitized? Or is it just almost as good to like keep it as a PDF, which is what it would turn into when I copy it?
what do you mean when you copy it?
It's a paper file right now, you know, a book.
Uh-huh.
And I need to copy it and return it to my cousin. And when I copy it, it will turn into a PDF.
Yeah.
So I need to take it from a PDF to like a plain text or something like that without losing the formatting. That's the thing, you know, is losing all the formatting. But
well, if you have full-blown Adobe Acrobat, Adobe,
I do.
there is a way of scanning it and OCRing it at the same time. And if you,
Oh,
and
really?
it will do, yeah. And I have not done it. I just know it can be done. And
Okay.
Because then you can do an every word search. Because I think that when you try to convert the PDF to like a Word document, it comes in as pictures. It doesn't come in as text.
That's not always true. I have had that happen, but that's not always true. I
Now, I
have
guess it
scanned
depends on
other
the way
documents,
yeah.
and I've never gotten it to an OCR, but I have gotten it to Word. And the problem is you have to go back through every page and fix things that didn't.
Well, OCR is not going to be perfect either. So just, you know, be aware of that too.
Okay. Will the OCR keep the formatting, like the indents and stuff like that? Or is it going to?
It is actually, it's doing optical character read on the pages themselves.
Right.
It's not doing, it's so you can find stuff. So you can do the Control F and find information if it's OCR'd. If it's not OCR'd, you can't do that.
Okay.
And just a regularly printed, a regularly scanned PDF, you can't do a find unless you've got that information in there. Okay, that's what I did wrong.
Now I have whatever my Adobe software is, I actually can search and find.
It depends on the way it's scanned though.
Okay.
It will always depend on the way it's scanned.
And what are the options?
Well, one of them is going to be the that to OCR it. But you may have it configured and not even know you have it configured to OCR.
Oh, that could be. Okay. I'll double check that. That might be true. Okay. Cool.
I mean, there's always cool stuff out there. Okay, I'm going to go on and add Clarence with his parents. There they are. Remember on that 1910 census I had? Oops, not that one. It has a stepbrother on there. And on the 1910 one I had from Marcus, had an aunt. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah. Well, I thought it did. Oh, I didn't notice. Look how many listers are on this 1840 page. There's Marcus. There's a Cullen. Was that the only one? So there's some other people on here. I didn't even know it. Didn't notice it. Makes me wonder what they're doing in Louisiana. Well, Lake Charles is one of those areas. Okay. I was going to see if in this where Clarence is, there's a, no. So this is them in 1880, and the father was Abraham. That was the one that was the mouthful. Abraham Ebenezer. Somebody didn't like that child. What a mouthful. I bet he went by AE just because he couldn't do it all. April 54. Something like that. In Indiana. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to make a note that this is where we're stopping, because I will show you how to add everybody in this census when we reconvene next month. Did everybody manage to get the notice that it's every month now and not just?
I'm very excited.
Well, as long as we can do it virtual. I cannot make this trip downtown anymore. Physically can't do it. Let me stop my recording.
This has been a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. If you're already a member, thank you. If you're not a member, please consider joining now by going to dallasgenealogy.com and clicking on the membership tab. Your membership dues will help us support the genealogy section of the Dallas Public Library, and it will allow us to continue our education and preservation efforts.